back, everyone, to Brown Bag Bets. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry, just missed it there. We're working on the timing. Welcome back, everyone, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christenson, and joining me, as always, looking good in his Twins hat there, Mr. Andy Molitor. What are all those years on there? Is that every time they won the division? The what are we doing?
Area codes, baby. I bought this in like the 6 hours while they had this up at before they took them down because everyone complained they were so ugly. They removed them from the site. I know you get the chain of lakes up in Minneapolis. You got Paul Bunyan's axe. There's the '87 World Series. I bought it because it's ugly. This is horrifying. And yeah, my wife, when she sees a box of a certain size on the doorstep, she knows Andy just bought another hat off the internet. So never impressed with that. But yeah, like I was saying to Alex off air, I'm tired. These NBA games are taking too long. They need to start in the afternoons. I miss bubble ball. I miss watching basketball at like lunchtime. That'd be great. But yeah, wild action last night. Right off the bat, we're like, oh my God, the Blazers are dead. Ended up not being so. Eventually dead, but dead in a lot slower, more painful death, I guess. The Lakers, similarly, oh shit, the Lakers are dead. That proved to be very, very true. And quite, what was it, 26, 28 at half, 30 at half, was it? It was a big halftime lead and never looked back. Lakers now at the brink. I don't know if AD's back. I don't know if it matters. Suns plus 190.
We like it. I mean, we'll see. If AD is healthy, again, it doesn't look like he's so, and we'll see. I mean, they're going to be in LA. That should be a good thing for the Lakers. I do think they'll probably win that game. I hope they don't. But if Anthony Davis is playing as healthy, the Lakers are still very competitive. But you have to love where Phoenix here is, up 3-2. So let's just hope nobody else gets hurt. That's what keeps happening here in this series. Yeah. When I look at it, let's get some time here. No more injuries. That's enough. Let's just have the playoffs with everyone healthy, so we don't have to worry and try to figure out whether or not any of this counts later on.
Yeah, and we didn't even mention the other game. That was just kind of a ho-hum. I don't know. I don't ever want to say anything's a no-doubter, but it was. Like, they were up the whole time. I think Nets led by, I believe the first half line was like 7.5. And it was, I think Nets by 8 in the first half, and then never really looked back. Ended up covering the big number. And yeah, now we have Nets Bucks. We have a good series now. We'll wait for some of these other ones to finish up, but the lines are up on that. That got steamed off the open. There was somebody that opened like minus 180 on the Nets.
Yeah,
that is absolutely getting bet right now. So that's going up. And yeah, let's look at all the futures we place and kind of recap some of that. Like you said, you got the Suns at just a honey of a number, plus 190. DraftKings open them. You bet them in every Canby book that lets you. And looking real good right now. I don't know what the updated number is. I'm assuming minus 300, something along those lines. Either way, they're up. They have 2 elimination games. They just need to win one of the last 2. Blazers to win the West. Not so great. Them to win this. Need to win this. It's okay. They still have a decent shot at this, especially if the Lakers fizzle out. If the Clippers just need one more injury, and then the Blazers have pretty much an open path, do what they want. Although I will say the Jazz look pretty damn good now that they're full strength.
Yeah.
So the West is still kind of tough. Knicks 4-3 is basically, it's
alive.
It's alive, and the price for it right now is essentially the same price that you bet it at. It's like plus 550 still. So if you want to get in on late on that, you still can. I mean, essentially, you're just betting the Knicks to win the series. Like, you can just bet the series price. You don't need to go find the prop. What about French Open? We placed 2. One was 100 to 1. One was like 30 to 1. Multiple withdrawals, couple of upsets, weirdness. Plus, it's just clay, and the draw was a little unbalanced. How do you like your chances? Have you looked at updated prices on our 2 girls?
Well, one of them got knocked out, unfortunately. Miss Podoroska, our bigger ticket at 100 plus to 1. I knew her first round match was going to be tough. She lost to Belinda Bencic. It just didn't look right. Our other player, Badosa, though, things are opening up really nicely for her. She's down to close to 10 to 1 at this point. Naomi Osaka withdrew, so that pulls her out of her way. Podoroska getting knocked out, I think, actually helps her a little bit too. So she still sits in that fourth quarter that looks to be wide open. So, we've got her in the 30s. She's down to like 10. I think she's going to cruise through this quarter. So we should have 30-1 in the semifinal. So feeling pretty good there. Overall, it's been an up and down tournament. It is clay, and I'm curious to see how the rain impacts things for a few days. But some of these courts are pretty fast, Andy. I don't know if you've watched any, but the clay looks very light. Like you can see the base of the court. There's not as much dirt on there as we're used to. So they've been playing a little faster, and I'm trying to take that into account. But that's made things a little murky. So far, though, I think we're just got our head above water overall. But if we can get that Badosa 30-1 to the semifinals, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like the clay is tamped down and it's playing like like it's just hard and beat down, and the ball's not picking up as much clay when it's hitting. So I don't know. It's not, not hard court speeds, but it is playing a little funny. I'm used to some of these longer rallies. I like underdog, maybe, and that's why we're not seeing some of these underdogs playing as well. But yeah, the women's draw wide open. The men's draw, I don't know. So far, pretty normal. Tsitsipas, my only outright, and there's playing right now. He's up a set on Martinez. I think he's about a minus 5,000 favorite in this match. I mean, a lot of these big favorites right off the bat. Yeah, he should be cruising here. So we'll keep up to date on him next week once he actually has to face some decent opponents. Hopefully he can get it done. And yeah, let's look at the action for tonight. We have more NBA. Again, it's late, which I hate, but such is life. We're never getting, even though somebody we talked to saw some funny numbers at one of the books where it was listing afternoon basketball. We all got excited for about 15 seconds, but yeah, the games tonight, Wizards, Sixers, Knicks, Hawks, elimination. Both of those are elimination games. In fact, Jazz Grizzlies is an elimination game, and then the late game is Mavs Clippers. Any thoughts, picks, action, analysis? What do you got for those?
Yeah, we can wrap up the first round of the Eastern Conference tonight. I think there's a good chance that the Sixers close out Washington here, even without Joel Embiid. That says, the total looks a little light to me, and I really like the Washington team total over here. I actually played it this morning around 112. It's actually ticked down a little bit. I'm looking at over 111.5 right now for the Wizards. I have this closer to 115 myself, like 114.5 if I was probably hanging a number. Joel Embiid's out. That means that the Sixers defense is going to be worse. And their offense is going to be worse as well, but they're still a pretty good team. We should see the pace pick up. Washington is still going to be able to put up, I think, a pretty good number here. If the Sixers do win this game and cover the 6 that I'm looking at right now, I think it is going to be a high-scoring affair. I think the uglier the game gets, it actually helps the Wizards, who have a few more reliable offensive pieces. But again, we'll see. There's a lot of shooting regression that should happen tonight. The Wizards did win that game, but it was mostly on the back of making a lot more free throws than the Sixers. Beal had a poor shooting night. He was something like 9 for 23. Westbrook was even worse than that on the Sixers side. Tobias Harris had a really poor shooting night. So as all those things start to pick up, I think we're going to see a lot more offense here. And I like the Wizards again. Team total over 111.5, 112. All looks pretty good to me. As I start to look at some of the other games here, you've got the Knicks, Hawks. That's just a really hard game for me to tie down. It's an elimination game for the New York Knicks. This is more or less the line that they've had for the series in Madison Square Garden. I think this is pretty much where they closed game 1 and game 2, which was in New York. And Atlanta has just looked better in all 4 games. Even the game that they lost, I thought that was, they played very well, kind of fell apart late in the game. I don't understand why the line hasn't moved too much here. Maybe it is knowing that the market is going to come in, that they'll get people betting, frankly, on the Knicks here in an elimination game at home, and they don't have to make a big adjustment, frankly, to get Knicks money, and they're happy to take a little bit of Atlanta money when they need it. So the line sort of confuses me. I think Atlanta's the better team. I would adjust this. I'd probably have it down to a pick 'em instead of, having a 1.5 points. It isn't a huge adjustment, but there's just something off to me about this Knicks number. I think they can be competitive and win tonight, but I'm just going to watch.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I have Knicks futures. I'm not going to double down and bet them. I hope they win. I'd love to see it go to a game 7, especially for your fun prop future, whatever you want to call it, exact score, exact series final, whatever it is. Well, yeah, we will cheer for the Knicks from afar. Yes.
They can win 3 in a row, right?
I think so.
It's definitely possible.
It's happened. What does that leave us with? Just the night games?
Yeah, just the night games. Memphis, Utah. I was surprised that this Utah number wasn't adjusted more. It opened 10.5, and Memphis is taking a little bit of money. When I looked at the line, they closed right around 6.5 in Memphis, and to only adjust it 3-4 points going from Memphis to Utah seems a little bit short here. Again, I might be just trying to avoid some zigzag theory money here, knowing that people are probably going to back Memphis after not having covered but 2 games in a row here. I think Utah can cover this big number, but again, I'm a little put off by what the market's done here. I thought that the Jazz would be, closer to -11, maybe 11.5, and I'm looking at 9.5. I think there is some value in Utah, but I don't know. I'm not going to attack it. And then Dallas, LA, the Clippers. Dallas played 2 great games. The Clippers played 2 great games. We'll see what happens tonight. This line makes sense to me. I think you look at maybe like a Clippers team total over or something like that. But those last 2 games, there's just too much uncertainty for me. I'm going to try to hopefully make it up and watch some of it. Worst case, I'll get up tomorrow morning and watch them and see what I can learn. But those 2 games, again, just a lot of uncertainty for me.
Yeah, I probably will be going to bed early, so I will just check those scores in the morning. I won't have any action on either of those. Maybe if I stay up a little late and the Clippers get down early, I have a Clippers live bet. That's basically all I've been doing with the NBA's live betting. But transitioning to what I'm actually going to watch tomorrow, not tonight, a little golf. Approaching the green last night with Pam. Again, she had the first round leader last week. I had the winner. Her matchups swept. I hit my cut prop. We did very well on a lot of that. I almost hit my playoff prop, which I didn't want. But yeah, some round 1 head-to-heads I will be playing tomorrow. This is probably it for the card on those. Dougie Gim.
Love
He's
that guy this
actually,
year.
yeah, he had a nice finish last week. His approach game is strong. A lot of these are just numbers plays, especially with single rounds. There's a ton of variants. I'm going to play a bunch of these the first 2 days. Lanto or Lanto, we're still never sure of how to say his first name. Griffin over Billy Horschel. He's had a rough last month, but a decent overall 21. Again, more of a value play. I'm getting him at plus 121 here. I'm going to play him over Billy Horschel at a number like that, where I would think he should be closer to like plus 105. Speaking of plus 105, our guy Max Homa, internet's favorite, over Brendan Todd. Homa, again, kind of sucking, but he's won this year. He's got a couple of top 10s, and I don't have him as a dog here. I'd have him as a slight favorite in this matchup. Sam Burns is getting some hate. I'm seeing a lot of people betting against Sam Burns. I don't know if people think his price is inflated. His last 2 tournaments, he went first and he went second. So maybe people are just saying his price is at the top of the market or the top of the range and going against him. But I think I could make a strong case that Munoz's price is inflated based on how he performed last week. It was a wild putting performance. He ended up gaining 10 strokes on the green alone to end up in the top 5 last week. So this is again a little bit more of a Munoz fade based on hopefully he's getting a little too much love. And then it's Charlie Hoffman. I'm going to bet Charlie Hoffman as many times as I can bet Charlie Hoffman. Apparently, he's just a top 20 machine. Again, you're not going to top 20 on Thursday, but he shouldn't be this big of a dog to Scheffler the way he's playing right now. As much as I love our guy, Scotty Scheffler, and Joel in the chat asks, where's the Fowler fade? I'm a little afraid of the Fowler fade this week. I think those prices have kind of hit rock bottom, and we're leaving those alone. Joel also says Morikawa wins this weekend. Yeah, that's out there. He's as good of a player as anybody in the field. Very tough field. It's going to be very tough to pick an outright. It might be just one of those top 8, 9 guys that are sitting in the 10 to 20 range that takes us down because they're all, world-class golfers. This is not like a major field, but it's damn close. So check out my blog later on today. I'll have all the plays in that. I'll put that out over on the BETSPERTS content tab.
Love it. Who do you think can Morikawa win this weekend? I also saw Joel mentioned you like Colin this weekend.
Oh yeah, any given Sunday. That's a football thing, but you know what? Golf tournaments finish on Sunday too, unless you're playing on the European tour. So, all right. Well,
Thursday,
I had a
Friday,
live
Saturday,
bet.
or Sunday.
We have, obviously action going on right now for the French Open live bet. Shout out to everyone who told me to take Nishikori live. He ended up winning in 5 over Karen Hatchinoff. Tsitsipas is now up a break and a set, but you've got some action for tonight/tomorrow morning in the ladies' side.
Yes, sir. Take a look here. I remember what I picked. There's just so many different things going on here. A couple totals here. We'll start with Again, I'm not doing too many stacks here. As I mentioned earlier, it's a little hard for me to put my finger on what these courts are like. Some seem to be playing very fast. Some are playing a little bit slower. Again, we've got some rain coming in. Just a lot of things that are up in the air, but a couple spots still look really nice to me. Annette Kontaveit is going to play Kiki Mladenovic here. They have a total of 20.5. This should be a cheap 21.5 or maybe a really juicy 21. So happy to grab this. Again, underneath that key number of 21, I would probably hang a 21.5 myself. So if you've got 20.5, I'd say out to -115, even -120 is okay. 21 at standard juice or less is probably all right. This should be a very, very long match here. Both of these women have trouble closing out games sometimes, have trouble closing out sets. I think we're definitely going to see at least 175, if not a 7-6 here. So happy to grab the over there. And we are going to go over 2.5 sets here in another match, Andy. So Rana Kirstera is playing Daria Kasatkina. If this does go 2 sets, I actually like the under here. One of the things that I, from time to time, will double check the math on is the idea of kind of doing the Polish middle, if you will, of taking under the total and going over 2.5 sets. From time to time, there are certain players where it makes me a little curious, but it's generally a bad idea to bet more things as opposed to just one thing. So we'll stick to over 2.5 sets here. I have this closer to +140 from a price perspective. So we'll play this down to +150, +155. Should be a very competitive match. Hard for me to figure out who's going to win. Kasatkina has looked much, much better, which again speaks to kind of the courts being a little faster, which is odd, her being generally a clay player. Same thing with Kirstea. So I think they're both enjoying what's happening so far. I think we have a good chance at 3 sets here. And then Coco Gauff's playing, Andy. And we're going over 19 games.
Weird.
But as some of you might remember, a golf over has lost.
Nice
it's happened
yesterday.
It was like a
how
week
nice
or so
was
ago.
that to get into a tie break yesterday, knowing just and anyone who doesn't bet tennis enough. I mean, it just you start just putting the math together as soon as games are happening. All right, now we're at 4-4. 10 minimum. You just start adding numbers, and once you get to a tiebreaker and the total's 18.5, all you're doing is just hoping neither woman gets hurt. Hopefully no one quits. All they have to do is finish it out, play it out. It's all dead. It's dead rubbers at that point. All they have to do is play. So that was lovely seeing that tiebreak. I didn't give a shit who won the tiebreak. It didn't matter. 6-0 in the second set, wins that over. That was beauty. I'm more than happy to go back to the well on this with you.
Yeah, I will say a little caution here. The last time a Coco Gauff over lost was against this exact opponent, Wang Jiang. She is someone that's had a kind of a tough season. She is competitive. I think there's a chance she pushes this match, maybe even steals a set. Again, I'm not going to go with the over 2.5 sets here with as dominant as Gauff has been, over the last couple of weeks and how these courts again seem to be playing. But 19 is at least a game too low. I mean, that should be 20, maybe even 20.5, not only given the propensity for the possible 3 sets, but it's freaking Coco Gauff. So let's go over 19 there. And then we've got a money line, and this one's moved against me. I was very excited to back Tamara Zidansek at -130. This was actually a 2-unit play for me at 130, and it's now down to -115. I'm not sure who's coming in and backing Katerina Siniakova, who has, played some nice tennis. She has some good wins. I was impressed with her comeback victory today over Veronika Kudermetova. Really disappointing that Kudermetova couldn't close out our -4 there, but such is life. Going to go back against Siniakova here again. I think that she's playing some nice tennis, but really taking advantage of errors more than playing well, in my opinion. And happy to back a player here in Zidansek that looks locked in and is going to be happy to play on these courts, whether they be fast, slow, or otherwise. So Zidansek money line here. Again, you should be able to do better than me at -115, but I would play this up to -135, -140. I like Zidansek quite a bit here.
Yeah, I found a -122. I will absolutely go against Katerina here. So I'm in on that. I'm in on the Coco Gauff. And then somebody did mention it's a good day to wear the Twins hat, Maiden Focus. Horse guy. He's a horse guy. He's probably excited for this weekend. I'm sure he'll be putting something out on the BETSPERTS content tab about the races this weekend. But yeah, it is Matt Harvey Day. Twins have had some injuries, but and also the Twins just kind of generally suck. We'll actually have maybe that'll be my first question for our baseball guest tomorrow. We'll have Adam Burke on. We've had him on before talking some hardball.
Yeah.
So we'll get some baseball questions. If you have anything, hit us up for that. Otherwise, we'll pepper him with a few. And we'll probably start with why do the Twins suck this year? Although I will still go to some games. I still will support them. But yeah, tomorrow baseball, Friday, horse guest. Very exciting. Heading into the weekend. Deep dive tonight. Surprise when I say surprise feature, it's because we don't really exactly know what we're doing quite yet, as that often happens on the deep dive in the off season. Otherwise, do check out Approaching the Green if you haven't already for all the golf plays, and look for my blog later. Thanks to our sponsor, WinBet. Those odds that you see kind of humming along underneath those are courtesy of WinBet, and you can get your $500 risk-free bet. Links are in the pinned tweet on our profile on Twitter at BrownBagBets. I'm Andy Molitor. That's Alex Christenson. We are BrownBag Bets. It's lunchtime's over. Go back to work. We'll catch you, and then we'll catch you tomorrow for some baseball talk.